Welcome to the DGD podcast. As always, Robert Reynolds, Juan Daniels, the GOAT, and Kobe Pierce, the long snapper GOAT. All right, listen, I'm just mid and a bunch of goats here. All right, I'm the grass, and I will get sent to the pasture to get eaten. All right, it's just the way it goes. But listen, we're going to do this. We're going to go straight into this. But first, we've got to get a shout out to our guys over at Apotheos. Apotheos Roastery, if you're not familiar with them, 30 years of experience based out of Kennesaw, Georgia. Excellent, excellent coffee. GOGG, she can attest to this. I can too. Just figured I'd let y'all know. But first off, if you want to support the Classic City Collective, they are the official coffee and cold brew partners of the Classic City Collective. If you go over to our website, www.ggdpodcast.com/Apotheos, go click the link there. You'll see it. Listen, jump there, get you any coffee brew, right? Any blend of coffee, and 20% of proceeds from every bag that you purchase will go to the collective. Let them know DGD sent you. Check them out. I promise it is worth the money for that coffee. It is exquisite. All right, it is exquisite. Guys, enough about the advertising, right? It's draft day. I've been pumped for this for about a week now. If you're curious and you're just now joining in, we're taking, and us three are about to do a draft of all-time Georgia, past and present. And let us explain what that means. So the rules for the DGD Fantasy Draft are, there are 14 rounds, snake draft format, which means 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, right? Kobe Pierce will be our counter with 1 minute per selection, and the winner will be determined by a vote. All right, you will see a poll in the chat section. Let us know what you think there. We're also going to post this on social media. We will account for that as well. The draft order is Juan, and then Kobe, and then myself. This was determined by the regular season picks. Since Juan was the GOAT at that, he gets to pick first. Speaking of the teams, here are your team makeup. You get to choose a quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, tight end, flex, defense, and a kicker. The defense is specific to an entire year. So that would be like the 1980 Georgia defense. The flex position is either running back, receiver, or tight end. You have all 3 of those options to choose as your flex. We have 5 bench spots. I will keep track of the teams as we go. If a name is picked, I will let you know. With that being said, let me know if you want them as your starter or on the bench. If you pick them, let me know if you want them on the bench or your starter. That way I can kind of go, as if you have questions about the list, I will have the answers there for you. Are you guys ready? Is the brigade ready? I need to see some interaction here. Yeah, as Joel says, that coffee is good as hell. Yeah, I'm trying to tell people, man. Trying to tell people. First off, before we start, let's get some time to folks to hop in. Juan, how are you feeling about this draft?
Good. Pretty good. I based off of my research, I feel, what I'm going to pick. I'm debating on if I'm going to start off with a kicker or not. So it's going to be kind of
by default, first pick goes Stetson Bennett. By the way, the 4th.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's fair that Juan's in this draft, considering he's watched all 125 years of Georgia football.
every last
he's got the.
I'm operating on like 20 years of watching. Juan's got 5 times that amount.
He's got a century's worth of knowledge on us that we don't have.
Yeah.
Where's Adonis? Listen, also, brigade, since you're coming in, and listen, this is live. However, after the fact, let us know what you think about these picks, right? The reason why we're doing this live in real time, no pre-draft, anything like that, is because I want to instill the chaos of a minute being put on the time, live TV, live show. Get that situation. Listen, these graphics, they're going to be some nice teams. I'm just going to let you know that right now. However, what if we told you that Rodrigo Blankenship got picked in the 3rd round? Would it make sense? No. But, I mean, Juan Daniels knows everything, so it could. You never fucking know. You never know. Apparently, Pat is here. We can start now, and Juan has the Utah Wi-Fi today. Juan, he said he got 5G. Like, he ain't even got Wi-Fi right now. He got 5G. Pat,
I got on bars.
Guys, I think it's time. Kobe, do you have the clock?
Yep, let's start.
All right. With that being said, the 2023 DGD Fantasy Draft is underway. Juan Daniels, you are on the clock. What'd you say?
And he's a starter. Matthew Stafford, he's my starter.
Stafford. With the first pick, Matt Stafford is off the board. Kobe, you are on the clock.
I'm going Todd Gurley, starter.
Gurley is starter. All right. I have back-to-back picks. I am going Herschel, and AJ Green. That is 3 and 4 on the board. Kobe, you are now on the clock.
Then I'm going to go Nick Chubb.
Chubb, I'm assuming starter. All right, the fifth pick is off the board. Juan, you are now on the clock.
Give me Pickens.
Pickens, I'm assuming starter.
Yes.
All right, Juan Daniels, the first pick. Second pick, you are on the clock still.
Give me Terrence Edwards.
Terrence Edwards. All right. Kobe, you are now on the clock.
Let me get Hines Ward.
Hines Ward, you are on the clock. All right. I am now on the clock. I'm going Brock Bowers with my tight end spot. And then I am going. What do I have here? I am going. No Sean Marino as my starter. Kobe, you are on the clock.
Muhammad Massaquoi.
Starter?
Yeah.
Or bench?
Yeah, still starter.
All right. Juan Daniels, you are now on the clock.
Michelle.
Sony Michelle is your starter, right?
Is my starter, yep.
Okay.
And then give me Ben Watson as my tight end.
Watson at tight end. That's a good pick, Juan. That's a good pick, Juan. Kobe, you are now on the clock.
Let me get Orson Charles as my tight end.
Ooh, that's a name not a lot of people would think about. All right, I am now on the clock. I am going Aaron Murray as my quarterback. And at receiver, I am going to have to go. Actually, I don't know if I'm going to go receiver or not. I'm hitting my flex. I'm getting my flex here, guys. Give me Garrison Hurst at the flex. Kobe, you are now on the clock.
Yeah, I'm going flex here too. I'm going Isaiah McKenzie.
You trying to get that punt return.
The human joystick.
Juan Daniels, you are now on the clock.
Running back.
Who?
Robert Edwards.
Edwards. All right. And then your next pick, sir. You are still on the clock.
All right. For my flex.
You said flex who?
Leonard Pope.
Leonard Pope at your flex. All right. Kobe, you are now on the clock.
Let me get Stet at the quarterback.
You should have let him have him as. All right. It is my turn. At receiver, I'm gonna have to take a receiver here. Give me. You got Mascot off the board. I got AJ Green. Give me Juan Daniels. I'm gonna put him on the bench though. I think just got to do that. And then as my second pick, I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the way. 2021 defense. Kobe, you are now on the clock.
We'll kind of keep that rolling. Let me go. Let me go Frank Sinkwich.
Sinkwich on the. Okay, so you want him on
the bench. Yeah, I mean that's a Heisman Trophy winner on the bench.
Fair enough. Juan Daniels, you are now on the clock.
Give me the 2022 defense.
2022 defense. All right. Your next pick, sir, you are now on the clock.
And then for my bench,
who?
Fred Gibson.
Gibson. All right. Kobe, you are now on the clock.
I don't think I've heard this name called. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Chris Conley. Anybody drafted Chris Conley, receiver?
You have Chris Conley.
Okay.
Give it. All right, it is my turn. I'm gonna put another one on my bench here. I'm gonna take Terrell Davis. And then I'm gonna fill my wide receiver position. I want to go with Lindsey Scott. Got to have him for my Lindsey run moment. Just have to. Kobe, you are now on the clock.
I'm gonna keep hammering old men. Let me get Charlie Trippy.
Juan, I need to. All right, so we'll talk about this afterwards. But Juan, you are now on the clock.
All right. Give me my bench. Give me Eric Zaire.
Okay.
And then for my bench, Hampton.
Rodney Hampton. All right. Let's see here. Kobe, you are now on the clock.
At wide receiver, going back wide receiver again. Give me Bryce Hunter.
All right, Bryce Hunter is on the clock. Rudes says no one taking Hot Rod. No further, fella. You found him. Give me Hot Rod. For my kicker. Now my starters are all filled out. I'm taking players now. Man, oh man. Give me DeAndre Swift. Kobe, you are on the clock. This is getting interesting, folks. Rudes. While Kobe pontificates upon his decision, we'll do that.
Let me get Mecole Hardman.
That's a
for
good
a bench wide receiver.
That's a good one. Mecole is off the board. All right. Juan Daniels, you are now on the clock.
All right. So for my kicker, give me Cannon Parkman.
Parkman.
Parkman, yes.
All right. That
then-
is the 12th round. Now, the starting of the 13th round is here. So keep that in mind. 13th round. This is flying by. Juan, you're on the clock.
All right. Here. One second. Let me look at my list.
Yep.
Rude's Chubb went second overall. Or no, sorry. Like 5th overall or 6th overall. I drafted him in the second round.
Bench receiver, I'm going to go Andre Hastings.
Hastings. All right. Kobe, 13th round. Your pick is you are on the clock.
Yep, I'm taking Kevin Butler.
Ah. All right. All right. Now it is my turn. I am going with Tavares King. Give me Tavares King. Give me TK. And then my last pick will be give me Garrison Hurst. I don't see Garrison Hurst.
You already took Garrison Hurst.
Oh, wait, I did. You're right. I put that as my flex. Give me Tim Worley. Tim Worley. Man, I was excited to think that pick was there. Man, oh man. All right, Kobe, your final pick is in, sir. Who do you have?
Yep. I think I'm up on a defense, so I'm thinking 2017. Give me the 2017 defense.
17 defense. And Juan, mystery relevant. Who will it be?
I'm gonna go with Musa Smith.
Oh, that's a good one. All right. So
that was a great pick, Juan. I like Musa Smith. That was a solid.
Oh man, you ready for this, guys? The 2023 DGD draft is now over. There is a chat in the poll. We will read each team.
Or a poll in the chat.
Yep. I will read each team off, and then the chat will determine, the brigade will determine the winner. For Juan Daniels, in order: Matthew Stafford, Sony Michel, Robert Edwards, George Pickens, Terrence Edwards, Ben Watson, Leonard Pope, the 2022 defense, Parkman at kicker, Gibson, Eric Zaire, Rodney Hampton, Andre Hastings, Musa Smith. Does that sound accurate, Juan?
Yes, it
Look at that.
is.
I concur. Kobe, your team is as follows: Stetson Bennett, Todd Gurley, Nick Chubb, Hines Ward, Muhammad Massaquoi, Orson Charles, Isaiah McKenzie, the 2017 defense, Butler at kicker, Sinkwich on your bench, Mike Conley, Trippy, you said Bryce Hunter, and then Mecole Hardman. That is your team. Does that sound correct?
Sounds right.
And my team is as follows: Aaron Murray, Herschel Walker, Noshawn Marino, AJ Green, Lindsey Scott, Brock Bowers, Garrison Hurst, the 2021 defense, Hot Rod at kicker, Juan Daniels on my bench, Terrell Davis, DeAndre Swift, Tavares King, and Tim Worley. All right, folks, Let us know who won. Right? We need to know. So let us know. Juan, are you driving and doing this?
No,
Oh,
I'm parked.
okay. I ain't gonna lie. No, it looked like something moved
No,
in the back, and I'm like,
yeah. A car drove. Yeah, a car's driving.
scared me for a little bit. So, all right, now that the draft is done, who are some notable names that in the heat of the moment you may have forgotten about that weren't taken? Who what are some picks that y'all thought that could have been gone that may not have gone?
I don't think it was like heat of the moment. I just think I had enough running backs at the time. But I don't think anybody took Lars Tate, did they?
Lars Tate,
No.
He was a big guy that I really considered taking there kind of later.
I mean, I was not expecting Herschel Walker to be there at 3. So one must take Herschel Walker if he's there.
Yeah.
If you had to choose, guys, excuse me, the brigade, let us know what teams you thought won.
Get that man his Dr. Pepper.
I need it. Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
I'm dying. Elizabeth, I'm coming. It's the big one.
Rudes. I see Rudes ask, what about Ladd at receiver? I don't know about you guys. I mean, I know you took Brock Bowers. I think he was my big question mark. But I feel like I really tried to take guys that are done playing for the University of Georgia for a majority.
Is that how you? I mean, coming into this draft, was that your draft strategy? I mean,
it was mine.
Got a different one.
It was mine.
Yeah,
I definitely.
I ought to be ashamed of myself. Craig Lumpkin is my first cousin, so I probably should have picked him.
Oh, I'm clipping it and I'm gonna send it to him.
Yeah, to put on there. Yeah, shame on me.
Justin Robinson. Listen, for me, I don't even think I just came in kind of being reactive, but also have the proactive mentality that if I needed to, I think you look at it like obviously Herschel fell to 3, you just have to take him, right? And AJ Green, right? Being in one of those end spots are nice because you get 2 guaranteed players ultimately. Juan, I want to start with you on this. Who was your easiest pick and why?
I mean, Stafford, no doubt. And a lot of my picks basically were to combat that 2021 defense. I need a great quarterback. I'm going to also need some receivers. So, and I'm thinking of that SEC championship where Bryce Young and those receivers absolutely ripped us a new one. And I figured that you were probably going to take that 2021 defense. So that was, what am I going to do? Who am I going to put out there that's going to be able to move the ball and do some damage on that? Stafford was an easy pick.
I'll tell you this before I say what I'm going to say, Kobe, who was your easiest pick and why?
I mean, obviously early on when you have a lot of people to pick from, I was thinking of this, I hearing what Juan's saying is basically like the team he drafted, if they played your team, how's he going to beat your defense? How's he going to do some things like that? I was thinking of it a little bit like if you're playing actual fantasy football, like if you're picking these guys and they're going out to put stats. I think that's why I saw Herschel fall to 3. I think Gurley at 2 when he was here. I mean, he ran the ball terrifically. He also caught the ball extremely well out of the backfield, and he scored a lot of touchdowns. I mean, I just think that, for a 6 or 8 year span there, Todd Gurley was the best player, not just in college football, but in all of football. So I think that was a pretty easy pick at 2. And then Chubb coming back around the other way. I mean, he arguably could be on up there as the best running back to ever play here as well. So, I mean, those are two horses to kind of get you through a long season.
Yeah, I mean, I went running back heavy, as you saw. But the one thing I think with this is when you look at the running backs, each one has a niche, right? You have your you have your bell cow and Herschel. You also had Terrell Davis was a very nice piece. Juan, you played with him if I'm not mistaken, so you know what he can bring to the table. But then when you look at Noshawn and DeAndre Swift, they fit perfectly in a sense of you know receiving backs, but still versatile enough to carry the load, if you will. So you obviously do that right there. When I was expecting to take Stafford, so when he went number one overall, it kind of shook me a little bit, but I felt like I persevered, if you will, taking Aaron Murray. And listen, Aaron Murray in his own right, excellent college quarterback, no doubt about that. You know, receivers were interesting to me, especially after y'all had taken the ones that y'all did. But I felt like Lindsey Scott deserves a mention there as a starter. I mean, the iconic, listen, wherever Adonis may be, in 1980, there was a famous Run Lindsey Run that happened against Adonis's Gators. So I have to put that on there because it's Gator garbage. Um, but then you obviously listen. I think you look at a newer receiver as well. Tavares King, I felt like goes underrated for some reason. And when it came down to it, I just had to get him. I had to be a trendsetter, pick the first defense, pick the first kicker. Listen, I love some hot rod. I was surprised though. John Casey didn't get picked. I was honestly surprised that John Casey didn't get picked. But I mean, is that crazy to believe that?
Is it going to be crazy to ask what positions he played?
Well, John Casey was a kicker.
I mean, I just hate to say it, but there's only three of us. You know what I mean?
I know.
You picked Rod. Juan picked some guy. Have no idea who Juan picked. Never heard of him.
I played with him, but he could kick easily 63 on a bad day.
And then I picked Kevin Butler, who had one of the best NFL careers of any Georgia kicker ever. So
yeah. Well, I see. Where was it? Where did Rude say it? Murray ? Agree to disagree. I took Murray. Honestly, I was thinking about taking Zaire or David Green, but I went with Murray because I saw with the talent that he had around him. Listen, he is the SEC leader in passing yards for now, so you have to give him credit there. So when it comes to college, I'm just saying the dude could sling it. And then when you have AJ Green, I know it's not Stafford level gunslinger, right? There's nobody. Listen, I don't see anyone playing that kind of level that you would with Stafford, at least to date, right? Who knows? Obviously, in the future, we don't know. But I'm just saying, I think, from a quarterback perspective, right, Stafford was the number one option by far. I love Murray, love Stetson. I like all those picks, especially when you take a look and you compliment the team around it. Ruse is saying Green over Murray is what he was going to say. I think that's depends on the situation, but yeah, only because he played 4 years. Murray played 4. Well, Green played 4 too, right?
I don't know, but he has a great point with Green because remember Green shared time with DJ Shockley. 2 or 3 drives,
yes,
and then Shockley would come in for a drive, and so that's additional yard.
I didn't even think about that, but yeah, DJ Shockley's another name. I know obviously it's just 3 of us, right? But if there were more, I think you'd have to look at this defense, in my opinion. The 02 or the 05 defense, when you had Pollock and you know what I mean? Like those defenses, if you had more people drafting, I think those would be some valuable defenses to choose from. A lot of people, with Boss Bailey and Thomas Davis back in the day, like defenses were legit.
Well, I just think it speaks to, one, recency bias is always a huge thing. No matter how people tend to remember things. And it kind of gets lost. Some people, kind of also rely on the nostalgia effect, but it's amazing that basically all three defenses we picked have all occurred under Kirby in the past 6 years. I mean, it just shows how strong watching those teams over the past few years. You're really a believer in, these are some of the best defenses we've ever seen. Juan's been watching games since dawn of time.
Yeah.
And he hadn't seen nobody run like Roquan Smith after nobody. You know what I mean? Like,
no.
Yeah.
I mean, so I saw earlier, I think Rudes had mentioned, he asked a question while we were finishing up our draft, and he asked IDP, which is individual defensive player. We did not do this for this specifically. We didn't want to confuse anything. We wanted to keep it simple. However, there were some discussions that I think would have made it pretty interesting had we went with that. The logic would have been to be able to take, said IDP and put them into the defense that you had. So, I mean, Juan, since you went first, if you had an individual defensive player, obviously this isn't going into the team itself, the makeup. Who would you have picked with number one if you would have picked an individual player? Who?
Champ Bailey. Champ Bailey?
Champ Bailey? Okay. Yeah. Champ Bailey. Kobe, who would you have picked?
To add, it's adding to the team that I already picked, so I already have Roquan. I'm going David Pollock.
I was about to say you would have picked Pollock. It would have made sense there.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it. 2021 defense. Oh man,
you need a cornerback.
I was going there. Oh my God, no, you're not wrong. Safeties would have been nice, but I would. Well, Champ Bailey was gone.
Honestly, 2017 defense probably needed a quarterback if I needed to pick one.
Yeah, honestly, I would have picked Greg Blue. I just think Greg Blue was just absolutely filthy. You could have made it work in a sense of taking one of the other safety spots down, right? Because you had Chris Smith and Lewis Seen. You sit there and move Chris Smith down, right? And then you have Greg Blue. I like Greg Blue there. You took David Pollock. David Pollock, I think you could put anywhere and be fine. But what are you laughing at now, Juan?
Just the brigade is just very trash today. But even though they would be my number one pick.
Hey, Juan, I just want to let you know, according to this, I own you.
That's fair. Hey,
Tom, that's another one.
I have a good quarterback. So I'm okay.
So Ruse is throwing out some really good names that we didn't even throw out there. Thomas Davis and Eric Stokes was another one. It looks like
Stokes.
Stokes would have been for 21. Yeah. You could do Stokes. You could, obviously this is if we would have done an IDP, I think that was where you're really going to have to break it down. But when it comes to the simplicity of it, right, we didn't do that. Listen, maybe, I don't know, maybe we try something again with a draft. But I like doing this draft, but it gets to be kind of I don't know. Wasn't King Tut quarterback when Juan played? Juan, who threw the ball to you? Moses? King Tut?
It was King Tut.
Cleopatra?
Yeah.
God himself?
Yeah.
Did you and God literally just play catch? That's it?
Yeah, that's it. Abraham.
So I want to do that. I want to do this. Obviously, in the heat of the moment, right? Were there any picks, Juan? Were there any picks that you wish you could take back and replace it with someone else?
No, I'm feeling pretty good about my.
You were quick with it.
picks.
Like you were quick with it.
Yeah.
I felt like you knew what you were thinking about. Like
yeah, I had my reserves in there in the event that you guys picked the same guys that I had, but then I just had to really just kind of look at what was left. How Mel Kiper says the best available. Who I really in there. Again, like I said, my whole thing was based off of that. I mean, and even from a scoring standpoint, if I'm going to need points, from a fantasy, get points, and so that was, that was my thinking.
And that's the bottom line because Juan Daniels said so.
Jesus in the game.
Kobe, were there any picks, Kobe, that you had that were there any picks that you kind of look back and wish you could have redone and picked someone else?
Not really. I mean, I think that as things fell, like Juan said, I had, like my sheets of people, and I had them ranked, and as they fell, I marked them off, and like he said, it was kind of best available at that point. I mean, I had some things like, with again talking about like recency bias, like, do you take Stead at quarterback? Do you take DJ Shockley? Do you take, all these other people that for lack of a better means, like, I didn't get to watch as much as I've gotten to watch, Stafford, Murray, Fromm, Stetson, stuff like that. And when you're building all-time teams, it never hurts to have a field general. You got to have somebody to kind of glue this team all together. And again, if you're thinking in terms of like a true fantasy football, he's getting points for rushing touchdowns. He's getting points for rushing yards. He's getting points for, things like that, passing yards, passing touchdowns. And so when you really look at it that way, like, I think a mobile quarterback like Stetson or like DJ Shockley would have been really good.
Let's just say I'm hoping that Nick Fairley is not on y'all's defense, which he is not. Just saying. Glad he's not on the team. Now, I was thinking about taking Stetson, and I really should have. I love some Aaron Murray, but having Stetson on my team throwing to Juan Daniels, it would have been beautiful. Don't tell me you would have dropped it on purpose. You damn Paul Crew ass. Nah, Paul Crew having ass.
No.
Now, I will say though, it was kind of difficult picking receivers. Obviously, I think there's so many running backs. You know what I mean? That like I wanted to be RB heavy, and obviously, if you made a trade, one thing would be that. But obviously, we didn't do trades. But looking at receivers that I felt worthy of, being on the squad, not necessarily impossible, but it did get difficult. Made you think a little bit. Because I mean, if you go back in history, right now is the perfect time. Right, like right now, you're starting to see these receivers coming out. Like, Juan, you picked Pickens, right? Like he didn't have that many stats, but when he played, he was a game changer. You know what I mean? So like, I mean, could a guy like Lad McConkey have been on the team? Maybe so, But then I realized
Utah Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi. I think. Hey, you went out. Can you hear me, Kobe? Can you hear you?
It's because I'm muted like an idiot. As I'm talking to you, Juan, I'm just muted. Just talking away.
I don't even know what just happened.
You went through the Utah zone.
You know what? I did travel there. I was trying to go to see some snow in Los Angeles, and just so happened to go down through Utah. So, thanks, Joe.
I'm with Rudes. Joel's not paying the Wi-Fi bill.
I mean, she's supposed to be the treasurer. She ain't done shit, apparently.
Yeah, but I'm looking here. Like imagine with Monken, with Shockley at quarterback, been outstanding. I mean, if you can plug any of these quarterbacks that we're tough on that team, and they would have been outstanding, and would for sure have against Kentucky. See,
my question is this: like, it's all subjective, right? Like, how do you want to take your team and build it around it? Like, we didn't choose coordinators and coaching staffs, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well,
when you take it, you look
Monken's mindset, so it's
okay.
probably.
I mean, technically, you're the head coach in this sense, so you have that
Yeah.
mentality. Okay.
And I think Stafford. I think both Stafford and Murray have thrown touchdowns against Kentucky. That would have helped us out for sure.
All I'm saying is I drafted 2 people who have their jersey retired for the University of Georgia. That just I guarantee flew under the radar.
You did a great job with that. And I'll be honest, if I had a vote, I would actually would have picked yours.
I think we lost Robert again.
Robert, you frozen? He's frozen. I think he's looking at all the quarterbacks who've thrown touchdowns against Kentucky.
He's back.
Lord, this Utah Wi-Fi is terrible. It's terrible.
Yeah. He's gone again.
And there he goes again. Yeah, we got to get a better treasurer to pay our bills.
We gotta figure out some plug-in Wi-Fi for Rob.
Yeah, you ain't lying.
Yeah,
you ain't lying. God Almighty. With that being said, what's the chat looking like? Have we determined a winner yet or no?
It is only 4 votes in, and early on it looked like we had all voted for ourselves. Everybody had.
I haven't voted.
I'd most likely vote, but I told you I'd probably vote for. I like Kobe's. I mean, you picked a pretty dang good team.
We'll see. Right now, Robert's winning, so by 1 vote. So we'll see.
We'll take this to Twitter as well. I think we'll have to take this to Twitter as well. I'm just gonna leave that there.
I think I had some wide receivers. I'm with Robert. Wide receiver, like when you really start thinking, like you can really dive into some guys like Bryce Hunter. I'm pretty sure is still the last receiver to have a 1,000-yard season at the University of Georgia. Just kind of amazing. But then kind of real 1 year flash in the pans like Kirby's had. When you think like Javon Wims and everything he did.
Riley Ridley was another name that came to my mind.
Yep, Riley Ridley.
Thank you.
Yep.
Lawrence Cager even. I mean, the year he had in 2019, the whole offense operated through him.
I mean, honestly, you could take and look at Juan, what if you had Stafford with Arian Smith?
Yeah. That would have been criminal.
I'm a criminal.
I think in my opinion, the biggest non-draftee that I can think of right now probably is Kenny McIntosh too. I don't think anybody took Kenny Mac.
No, I
think he would have been a phenomenal pick.
The problem for me though,
I believe Cook as well.
See, my thought was, and now Juan's good Lord, JOGG, what is going on here? What's causing all this? Listen, Kobe. I think the way I look at that is, I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Okay, so he just dropped. Video just dropped. No worries, Juan. No need to fear. Underdog is here. Just gonna leave that there. Let's do this. So, when you talk about McIntosh, you talk about James Cook. Those are excellent picks, but I think for me, I just wouldn't have had enough room. I can't just take 5 running backs. There's so many running backs. You know what I mean? You got Sinkwich and Trippy. Like Kobe, do you even remember those two? Juan, you do. Trippy and Sinkwich.
Obviously not. They played during the Second World War. But one of them won a Heisman. The other one was the running back on the national championship team. Should have won a Heisman. They're just phenomenal players.
I mean, you're not wrong. I don't know. So if I had to choose one pick that I would regret, it might have to be Juan because now that you said Riley Ridley and all these other names made me start thinking. I picked him early too. That's the thing.
That's fair.
Oh, Pat brought up a good Fran Tarkenton, the scrambler. No, honestly though, Juan, when you're top 10 in receiving, you have to be in consideration easily. So
Yeah.
I'll give you credit there.
Well, when this draft happens next year, I will no longer be sure Lad's going to knock me out.
Oh, let's see. So, okay, so it's better than that Georgia. Nah, listen, like, nah, hell no. Sorry, that's not true. I guarantee you, JOGG takes and cracks her beans with rocks when she makes her coffee, and then puts water in like a little, like yum yum yum.
JOGG doesn't even know Utah's schedule until we tell her.
The story of Joel.
What?
Isn't that like Joel's story?
What? Which story?
Handmaid's Tales. That show Handmaid's Tales. That's Joel's story.
You know what? Hey, guy, I need to redo a pick. We need to do one extra honorary mention. Tim Tebow. Surprise everybody.
Oh, you know who it is? Reggie Ball was probably our best player. The quarterback out of bounds on fourth and.
Oh my God! Yeah. Georgia,
and throws, getting in another play. Ridiculous.
Hold on though. I forgot though. All right, so can I have another bench player? Give me Jarrett Guantano.
Who's that?
Who?
Jarrett Guantano. You know who I'm talking about, the Tennessee quarterback, man. Every time we played him, he gave us a game away. Eric Stokes hit. Remember that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Oh man. No, in all seriousness, though, I think Pat says mustard bottle on 3. Watch out now. You start to see bottles flying across. You start to get nervous. Guys, any final thoughts on this? It seems like everybody's content with your draft, I would say, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think,
Yeah.
I think it's fun. I think that we've seen now that doing it, the 3 of us, it leaves. I mean, it's like any regular fantasy football league. If you do an 8-man league, everybody's teams are stacked. You do a 10-man league, a little more, but you do like a 12, 14-man league, like you're really doing some digging, some research on those bench players. I think, obviously it's the 3 of us. There's over 120 years of Georgia football. We can fill up a 14-man roster, and it's really a 12-man roster with one kicker and one defense. Yeah. So,
I mean that obviously we'll look around as we go through this. Maybe do it again next year. I think we have some fun ahead of the NFL draft. Did y'all hear about Jalen Carter not partaking in the combine?
I saw that Bryce Young's not going to throw either.
I mean, my question is, it sounds like the Bears are willing to move that pick. So, obviously, we had a show earlier talking about Jalen Carter potentially being number 1. I don't think it happens now. I think there's a quarterback needy team that's going to sell themselves to the devil to get C.J. Stroud maybe or Bryce Young, and that means a lot of people.
I think they'll pick C.J. before Bryce.
I mean.
It's just me.
Uh-oh.
It was just me right there. It's just the Cody show.
You're going to have to take that.
Jesus.
Pat, no, I don't think Carter's injured. I think that he is just wanting to work out at UGA's Pro Day, which is not that uncommon for, like, big-time picks. Like, Jordan Davis, I think, only, like, ran, and maybe he did one other thing, but, like, almost did nothing else at the combine last year. It's definitely
they just go for measurables.
Yeah, and the meetings. I think that they definitely. I think you're more comfortable, and it gives you another like 2 or 3 weeks to prepare Like if you're wanting to get your 40 a little bit down, if you have a slight tweak in a hamstring, like you have 2 or 3 extra weeks to kind of prepare yourself. Now I can't remember what I was going to say. It was something about the combine. Oh, I remember now. How about CBS Sports coming out with Anthony Richardson at
Oh my gosh!
Oh my God! You made Adonis's day. Oh man, you made Adonis's day.
I would love nothing more for the Bears to trade.
His odds went from 80-1 to 8-1.
Yeah, I mean,
like my God.
I look at it this way: you take him, and you have basically put your job on the line. Like you draft him at that point, you've put way too much stock into somebody who has a decent upside, but like odds are
it's not even a decent upside. Like he is not good.
I mean, my man can't even read a defense.
Yeah.
Oh, I can throw the ball a country mile.
Shout out Pat. CBS Sports is trash. That's why here at the SEC, we're leaving them in the dust and heading to ESPN.
Oh, you're going to miss Gary Danielson. Stop playing. Guys, with that being said,
I'm gonna have to do the outro. With that being said, fellas, that does it for here. That does it here for us at the DGD podcast. Tune in Wednesday, maybe Friday. Actually, I think if I remember,
I think it's Friday. I think it's
Friday at noon. We have a special show for y'all. I don't remember what we're talking about, but we hope you enjoyed. Today's draft. Vote. We're going to put it out on Twitter with some graphics. Go vote there.
Instagram as well. Instagram as well. So we'll take votes and see what happens. We're going to get off here before this shit happens again. All right, guys. With that being said, have a great day. Make sure to like, follow, subscribe. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.